I can't wait for you any more longer, Cam. We'll just do it live. We're about it later. Let's go.
Oh yeah, this is Sci-Fi Snob, and this is the Toplofty Lounge. You're in for a smooth show for you today. Oh yeah, baby. In the 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, baby. Yeah, here we go. In 11, 10, 9. Oh yeah, baby. Here we come. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Top Lofty Lounge tonight. Tonight we're doing episode 66. Ooh, lucky 66. We're talking about the greatest science fiction characters. Now, there's a little overlap from last week, maybe, but these are characters in science fiction media, mainly television, movies, that sort of thing. Don't be afraid to put your thoughts in the chat if we miss one or who you think or what we got wrong. Tonight, yeah, conversations for the elevated here on the Top Lofty Lounge. Welcome all my fellow snobs. Good to see you here. Seems we got a nice big fat chat going along. I appreciate that. But before we get started, we need to bring in my co-host. He is the Counselor Troy to my Picard. It's Cam. Say hello, Cam.
Good evening, everyone. Counselor Troy sucks.
Exactly. Yes, I agree. Okay, Cam. How was your week? Did you what did you do to increase your sci-fi snobbery?
Nothing. I engaged in the world of fantasy this week.
Oh no.
Well, okay. I did read. I don't remember if I mentioned this live or just. I don't remember who I mentioned it to, but there's a comic series called American Flag from 1983, written and drawn by Howard Chaykin, and it is sci-fi-ish for sure. It's kind of like near time dystopia. It's actually set in like 2031, I think. But anyway, I'm kind of going through it slowly. I just finished the 6th issue. It has basically 3-issue arcs, and man, it's got some similarities to. It's predictive of reality in several ways, and it's just a good time so far. So,
and that's a comic book, eh? American Flag.
Yeah, it was by First Comics from 1983. And it's a blast reading because a lot of the stuff is like a lot of the names that would later become huge, like Mark Silvestri is like listed as, there's like ads for like conventions and stuff, so it's talking about Mark Silvestri and Tim Truman and these guys that were at the beginning of their careers. At that point. And then like I don't know if anybody's you should be familiar with Mike Barron, comic writer has been around forever. He wrote Nexus and amongst many other things, Badger. He's still writing today, and he was listed as a convention attendee. You know, again, this is 42 years ago or whatever now, so it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that reminds me. This isn't, it's some tangentially related. I have a series of comics. I don't have them all. Fighting American, they're called. Have you ever heard of? I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
I have
You
not
have?
read them.
Oh, okay. So it's a Captain America satire, and he gets like put forward in time from like the 50s by some villain, and he is a classic 50s type American. He's going around, and you know there's some woman screams and he hits her and he says, "Stop being hysterical, woman." Like he's got this 50s sensibilities in the 1990s or whatever. So it's kind of a satire. It's kind of, I like that stuff. But yeah. All right. Not really related to what you're doing, but other than it's an American type of thing. But yeah, so we'll have to check that out.
Sure. Now, as I recall, you used to show your birds, right?
The birds, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, not quite this, but I was out around the home today, and I have a vent for for my fireplace, like an external air
Yeah,
intake.
of course, you got to have that.
And
I've got one for mine too, of course. Yeah.
sure. And so I'm looking up there. I'm like, what is that up there? And I'm like, is it a leaf stuck up there, or maybe like an abandoned wasp nest or
Mm-hmm.
something? And so I happen to have a stick with me because who doesn't?
You always have to have a good stick.
And I go up there to see if I could poke it loose, and it's like it doesn't quite come loose. It kind of moves, and I'm like, is this? I thought, again, it's just kind of like a wasp nest made of mud and stuff. And I'm like, it's just kind of hanging on up there, whatever. Well, and then I see these teeth rearing out at me, these tiny but very menacing mouthful of sharp teeth. And it turns out it's a bat that's up there. So it hissed at me angrily. And then I decided to leave it alone. I could have easily squished it with the, again, I didn't put like,
we love that.
I didn't, I didn't push hard with the stick. I was just kind of like moving it like sideways. I could have crushed him, I'm sure, but I left him alone. But he was also apparent. I noticed this later, dropping all over, the the side of my siding. And so I just went to hose that off, and then apparently that scared him, and he fell out on the ground. And then, uh, a la Batman, spread his wings fully, and he became about 8 times his normal size. But he just laid there. But then later I went to check, and he had gone. So apparently, or maybe a predator came and ate him. I don't know.
Yeah, he probably took off.
Yeah. Well, he's probably back up where he was.
Yeah.
Belt.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, that
was terrifying.
Wildlife stories.
Yeah.
Let me. So what? I did a lot this week. I gotta say, I finished off season 3 of Resident Alien, which is it's not a bad show. I like Alan Tudyk. He's pretty good. It's kind of funny in an unusual way. So I mean, I recommend it. If you like that kind of stuff, if you like him, he's not a highly recommend must see, but it's kind of quirky and a little unusual. The sheriff's a pretty good character. It's not as bad as some of the stuff out there. What else? I tried watching the new Alien Earth series, and because I watched some feedback from the big names, the Nerdrotics, the Maulers and stuff, and they just dunked on it. So I had to see what it was. I didn't quite see some of the concerns they were having, but I didn't get through all the first episode, so I got to watch it again and go, what? I mean, it does seem a little weird. Well, I'm not sure, it didn't grab me anyway right off the bat. So I don't think it's, they're saying it sucks. I'm not saying it's great. Like it's between sucks and average as far as I can tell. So you going to say something about it?
I've been curious about that show. I kind of generally like the Alien franchise, and I was curious about it, but I don't know the first thing about it.
Yeah, I got to look in, and again, it starts off, some ship has crashed on Earth, and it's got some xenomorphs in it, and it's the alternate. I think it's some alternate. I can't remember if it's it's one of the other. Whalen-Yutani is the big corporation, right? That's always doing the bad stuff.
Mhm.
So it's either their rival has seized the ship, or they seized the ship from their rival. I think they've seized the Whalen-Yutani ship, and they've got a bunch of kids in alien or not alien android bodies who are going into send the children into the into the ship to find out about the aliens. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Like, it's a little weird. But anyway, so I gotta check that out. And also I finally got my kid to watch. We watched the end of we saw Empire Strikes Back, and she loved it. She thinks it's great, and I'm like, yeah, it's great. We started watching Return of the Jedi, but it was getting late, and she started falling asleep during the end or fighting stuff, so I turned it off. But so she at least is getting some education that way, so that's good. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Again, far too late, but I guess never.
Well, she's
too
13.
late in the end. But
too late.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get started, now I've got a bone to pick. I have a complaint that I need to air out. We've got to get the air clean. Now, as the audience knows, I am the science fiction snob, right? The head snob. Now, of course, everyone else looks to me, right, to be, for style and for, as a thought leader in this area, of course. And of course, everyone in the audience, of course, you are all, of course, fellow snobs. I mean, you're not like those other plebes. I mean, you're here, right? So you must be, you obviously have good taste, right? But now when you're the taste leader and stuff, I shouldn't be doing all the work, right? I should have people running around doing all these things for me, right? Audience, doesn't that make sense? I mean, I shouldn't have to do, but not only do I have to do all the work around here, pick the topics, get everything ready, do all this stuff. Not only do I have to do all of that, but when I, go to propose a topic for the week, guess what Cam's reply is? Can anyone guess?
Well, yeah, of course it's. Oh, yes, sir. No problem. That's
it.
Great. I'll get right on that. Yeah, that's exactly
what I get
every time.
I get this. Yeah, whatever. That's what I get. Whatever. Hey, how about this? How's this for a topic for this week? Whatever. That's what I have to deal with, people. Can you believe that? I mean, what the heck? Look at the stuff I have to work underneath here. I mean, you have anything to say about that, Cam? Do you want to reply, defend yourself? I mean, I know you can't.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we should get on with the show. Get started. What are we doing tonight? We're talking about the greatest science fiction characters. But before that, we have something special. Is that right, Cam?
Well,
you got something special for us?
Maybe. Yeah, well, it's a tool segment.
What? A tool segment?
Yes, a very brief one. Because I don't want to let this audience cool off. I think they're hot to hear the main topic. So we're gonna do this fast.
All right, it's tool time. Okay, let's get back to the. It's tool time. We got a tool segment. Awesome. Let me turn that off. All right, let's go. You ready for the first one?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Okay. Oh, you see that? No.
Nope.
There we go. Bit of a delay.
Okay. All right. Brief intro. Klein Tools has been on a tear with new products for the last maybe 18 months, and they just came out with a new flood of stuff. I mentioned the screwdriver, the locking screwdriver, or bit driver, I guess you could say, that came out a few weeks ago, and we had on last week's show. But they continue to come out in batches for more. So what we're showing here is it's a swivel adapter for their impact flip sockets. So in this photo, you can see the red and yellow ended one. That's 1/4 inch and 5/16, which is probably the most common one. It works with all of them. So this is you can change these out. It's with any of their flip sockets. And so the adapter in the middle, you see the little stick going to the black cylindrical shape there. That's where the swivel is actually happening, of course. And then it's actually another extension on the bottom that's also removable. So if you wanted to have there are many different sizes of these. So if you wanted longer, you could put it on the bottom end. And so, again, a swivel allows you to get some angles that you otherwise couldn't get to drive things. So I picked one of these up today. Looking forward to trying that out. They also have ones that have the 6 flip sockets that come with it, but I already got a ton of those. So it's really just the swivel I was looking for.
Right, sorry, I'm missing my, should be showing more of this.
Oh.
There's the flip socket there.
Yeah. So the middle piece you can see there, that's really the piece that's needed for me at least. And then the one on the left is the one, sticks into the bottom. Same attachment type. It didn't need to be, I guess, but works just fine. So you could use the piece on the left separately, just as a straight without the swivel if you prefer.
Right.
That's all right. That's right.
Okay, and then you got 25-degree swivel head.
Yep. So pretty nice.
All right. Rare earth magnet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they got more pictures here. All right, that's good. Okay, is that good? Next one?
Yep.
All right, let's go to the next one.
This one, we've got this is a 12-inch extension for 1/4 inch hex bits, but it's not only locking, it's double locking. So you can see so if you just push a regular bit into this is shown upside down, so the bottom, and of course you could use with any 1/4 inch drive system, an impact driver or a drill driver or anything like that, or just your brand new screwdriver you bought from Klein. We're not sponsored by Klein, by the way, but we would welcome it, I believe.
You bet. I would take a sponsorship by Satan himself if you paid enough.
Not me. I'm quitting the show at that point. But then the red part is you could screw it down, so then the collar can't release. So this is if you're, let's say you're using a spade bit or something, in a hole where you're blind or something, and you really can't afford to have it get caught on something and twist out or whatever. You basically have a longitudinal and twist lock, so it's basically impossible for it to come loose. So and just as a regular extension if you were to need one, but this one's got the additional locking, so pretty nice.
All right.
And so Lowe's is one of Klein's big retailers, and so they've got these are all in most stores, as I understand it, they have a new end cap display. So they've got kind of collection of a bunch of different things. There's actually many more items that I'm not going to talk about because I didn't buy them, but they've got new adapters and impact drivers for sockets and things like that. Sets with 1/4, 1/2, and 3/8. A lot of different stuff. But then the last item here
this is $15. I think that's American. That's American.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last thing. All right, let's go.
Where is it at?
Popping up.
There we go. So this happens to be the one that I bought, which it's this new line of small parts boxes and bit boxes. They're all the same size so far, and this is quite a bit smaller than their other mod boxes. Mod box is the name of their connecting box system, but this one is fairly small. It's probably about the size of a 3x5 card.
Really?
A little bit bigger, maybe.
5, that's it?
Yeah, it's pretty tiny. And this...
That's pretty nice. That's nice and compact.
Yeah. And so this one just happens to come with a bunch of number 2 Phillips and number 25 Torx. I'm not sure why they did it that way, but I was interested in the box because there's a number of these. I think they came out with 3 different ones. One has like security Torx bits or security bits for Torx and hex and some other miscellaneous ones. And then another one just has some bits, a variety of bits and a magnetic bit holder. and then this one that's mostly just for storage. The other ones do have some storage spaces, but this one is primarily storage. So these bits, I'll use them at some point maybe, but it was really for the box. So again, I talk about my tool bag and everything. I like to carry, some screws and some other miscellaneous things. There's some electrical stuff that I've been wanting to, like electrical connectors and things like that I've been wanting to carry along. So I think I'm going to use this for that and see how that goes. So that's, it's kind of a make your own combo of, whatever you want to use the boxes for. But like I said, there's 3 different ones that are out right now. They'll probably have more. And these do attach to the other Modbox systems, even though they're smaller. There's on the back, there's a spring-loaded extension that works with those.
How well do they close? Like it's pretty nice and not gonna pop out.
It's
because 3x5 card or between 3x5 or 4x6 would be perfect to put in in my my power drill bag with extra bits or whatever that just slide in there.
Right. It's not so the Modbox, the other Modboxes have like a spring closed thing. This one is just a slider. From what I've seen so far, it seems to be pretty firm. So unless you're really bouncing around in there, I think it'll probably stay closed. I will check that out though in more detail for you. But it does have a pretty positive lock on it. It's not just lightly closed or anything.
All right, that's good. No question. Right. Check the chat. Any questions in the chat?
Oh,
no, nothing. No general questions. All right.
Did we say hello to everyone?
No, we didn't. All right. Well, that's okay. Let's go back to regular. Well, who's in the chat tonight, Cam?
Okay. Well, we've got Weatherman, our most loyal viewer, I believe. Always good to see him. We got James. So again, nice to see everyone. So I'm just going to say that. Then we got let's see, Neutron. Michael is here. You're here, of course. Death Angel Shadows in there. We've got Kay Roberts was in there. Let's see. Dave is here. Is that everyone? Oh, Umbrus is here. I think that's everyone.
All right.
So, and a few lurkers, perhaps. So, welcome everyone.
It says we got 10 watching on YouTube. That's good. We like quality viewers. We don't need lots of viewers. We just need good quality ones, which is what we have. So that's what we want. All right. Any last minute things before we jump right into it? I'm trying to. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you can, we're trying to get a little bit more visibility. So liking, subscribing, putting a comment in the show afterwards, even if it's just any kind of comment, will push us up in the algorithm, get us out there a little bit more. It pushes up the engagement. So we appreciate that. If any of you guys can do that, share us on your social medias, any of that stuff. Oh, you got a question?
Oh, what we got here? Cam, have I ever used Milwaukee 6-in-1 tool? I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. I have a variety of Milwaukee tools, but not a ton of them. I have a few of their M12 power tools, and then I do use some of their bits. Are you talking about like a screwdriver, a multi-driver? There is a flip. They do have a flip socket driver system. So I'm not sure exactly what tool you're referring to. But probably not. I don't think I have a 6-in-1 from Milwaukee.
All right. Okay, good. All right. Let's jump right into it. Now these are not in any particular order, though I tried to group them by IPs or properties, and they're not, rated, best or worst or anything like that. We're just going to go through them. Some of them are pretty obvious. We only have a 2-hour show. We can't put everything in there. I can't spend 5 hours here. So,
well, these are supposed to be the greatest.
Some of the greatest. What is the line between?
Welcome,
Mr. Milk Toast. Where's the line between sci-fi and steampunk? Well,
we should discuss that someday.
Yeah. Well, generally speaking, steampunk would be a subgenre of sci-fi. It would be a specific genre as opposed, just like where you'd put in sci-fi, you'd put in, dystopian or you post-apocalyptic or utopian or, there's all kinds of all kinds of them. Yeah. Are we talking all science fiction or book and film? Mainly films, television shows, and by greatest I mean sort of the most. It's kind of the most popular, the ones that everyone knows. We could do the least known at some other time, but kind of do the most well known ones.
We could have most underrated.
We could do that. That would take a little bit more, work.
Oh, but I thought you were doing all this work.
I
This
am
is something
doing that.
you were
Work.
just.
It would take even more work.
Oh,
to
okay.
do that. But yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go through, and you guys can decide. So these are characters. So these should sort of stand out in the popular culture as impressive or something that everyone knows. So of course, the first one, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Darth Vader. He's the main villain of the 6 movies. I mean, just think of when you first saw Darth Vader. He came coming out. He was just like, that sense of fear that you got as a kid watching the movie. It's just he's probably the most iconic of all time in any film or movie. Cam, what say you?
Well, certainly he's right at the top of that list. In sci-fi, again, well, for the purpose of this discussion, we won't get into whether it's science fantasy or horror fantasy or any of that, but certainly he would be a contender for number one, if not number one. I can't think of someone who would be more at this point, I guess. Yeah, okay.
He's pretty. I mean, for characters, yeah. So we're gonna do Star Wars first. Those are the first couple ones. All right. So of course, our favorite robot, R2D2, is probably the most recognizable robot in all of science fiction. He's got various abilities. His sort of for a robot that just makes beeps and weird noises, and everyone reacts to him like he actually said something. He's got quite a bit of a character to him and an attitude, eh? Your thoughts, Ken?
Well loved.
Well loved.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was a kid, I would have to say that he was. I mean, I don't know anybody who didn't love R2D2.
Yeah, going through this list, it's so surprising to me and thinking about it. Like he does have, for a piece of metal that doesn't even talk. He's got quite the attitude on him, and how he operates. They did quite a good job, giving him that kind of personality. Most robots don't have that much. Well, I shouldn't say that because a lot of them talk and they can get their personality about. But for a robot that doesn't talk, he gets his personality out pretty good.
Mm-hmm. He's precocious. Well, you mentioned your daughter. What does your daughter think about?
We didn't talk specifically about R2D2 or any of the characters.
So she didn't bring him up and like, oh
no, she's 13. She's a beyond that. Well, I should not completely beyond, but mostly beyond the cutesy little stuff.
Incidentally, this is some AI R2D2 that is not correct.
Yeah, I think that is. I had trouble finding that. I wanted a nice, clear picture, a good one, but that's you're right. There's some. The bottom part is a little bit. It's not. I try to go strictly from the from the films where they're taken from, if I possibly can, but sometimes I can't. Yeah.
Yeah. This is. Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Milquetoast wants to do more work. Heroes, sidekicks, villains, and henchmen. Yeah.
Well, good. Say thank you, Mr. Milquetoast. Now we might have some ideas.
That's good.
For your dumb
ideas
show.
For future shows. Now, Boba Fett. Now, this is one that maybe, very iconic. Everyone knows who Boba Fett is, but watching again.
Oh,
watching Return of the Jedi, he was kind of done dirty. I mean, he just. He goes in there, gets hits on the back by Han Solo, and flies into the thing and falls into the pit. Right?
Yes, but okay. So there's been some pushback on this, and it came from the garbage sequels. Where some idiot was like, "Oh, Captain Phasma was way more important than Boba Fett." It's like, no, you're just an idiot who doesn't understand that Boba Fett. Now, again, not talking Return of the Jedi, where he was basically punked, right?
Yeah.
But he is the linchpin for Empire Strikes Back. He is where the story revolves around. Even though he has relatively small screen time and his on-screen actions are relatively minor, he's the one that tracks them to Bespin, which is where everything, the whole trap for Luke and everything revolves around. That's where it all pivots. So if you don't understand that, then you didn't pay attention, or you have some reason to try and make a counter argument, for your own purposes.
No, you're right. I mean, he's much more. Captain Phasma is a useless character. There's a he's quite unique. This party cold-hearted killer, but he shows some understanding. And in the I'm sure I've seen this before, but it's kind of it's a very small thing. Return of the Jedi. Leia is dressed up in this as some alien and brings in Chewbacca. And there's a very quick cut scene where after Leia argues with Jabba over how much money she's going to get for Chewbacca.
Mm-hmm.
They take it away. She's going to blow them up, and everything's good to go, and everybody's happy now. And Fett looks over at her and gives a little nod with his head, sort of like the fellow bounty hunters, and he's like somewhat I don't know, impressed or at least respectful of her for catching Chewbacca. Yep. At least, I mean, he doesn't know that it's fake, but yeah.
So, right, and that was part of his badass mystique, right? He's just like kind of just nods,
a little respect between colleagues. So
Yep.
Yeah. Fett is way better than Captain Phasma, and like I said, he was done a little bit dirty. But there's a lot more with the outside of the movies, because he's such a iconic character, and then people just gravitated to him, even though he didn't do much. Didn't have as much screen time. All kinds of stuff came out afterwards. Yeah.
Mr. Milquetoast is disagreeing, saying doesn't really agree with Boba Fett. I actually had written down a list and put Boba Fett on it myself. But it says most people don't know the character's name.
I
maybe today, but everybody knew his name back in the day.
I think everyone knew. It was like, oh, who's that guy? Yeah. I would say, I couldn't agree with that. Michael's talking about, we did a show on this, Ken, didn't we? We talked about different types of, we talked about dystopian, and it was quite a while ago, last year. Steampunk, diesel punk, we talked a little bit about all that stuff.
Weatherman bringing in the deep lore here with IG-88B.
Yeah, IG-88 is very, I was just thinking about, I was just about to talk about IG-88. And of course, who mentioned it earlier? The other bounty hunter. Oh, it was, where did it? Here it is.
You're talking about bounty.
Umbras, yeah. HK-47, Meatbag. Yeah.
Oh.
From the, but that's from the Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, IG-88, also a good one. Yeah, Phasma is definitely a useless character. Useless. Yeah. Who doesn't know Fett's name? Yeah, Phasma is a cool name, but crap character. Neutron asks, define greatest and most popular. It's whatever I say was. It is. Yeah. Okay. Some more Star Wars characters. Han Solo, of course. Iconic character.
Also on my
list. He's, his whole journey from smuggler to hero mainly through the first and second film. And by the third film, he's, all in 100%. And I mean, he's just iconic because everyone, he's the gun-slinging cowboy and ladies' man. I mean, what kid didn't want to be, if you were watching Star Wars 10 years old in 1980, who would not want to be Han Solo?
Yeah, I was when the first movie came, I was a Han Solo fan, not a Luke fan. Admittedly, later on, by the time Luke got into the Jedi stuff, I was like, oh, Jedi stuff's pretty cool. So I drifted more towards Luke, but originally Han Solo was my dude.
Yeah, I think that is with everybody as well. That's kind of the way it goes.
And I have it on good authority that the young ladies also enjoyed Han Solo.
Oh, of course, who wouldn't? He's the bad boy. All the girls like the bad boys. Right. Yep. That's why he gets the girl. Well,
I see no debate in the chat. Let's move forward.
And of course, we got to mention Luke Skywalker. He's the mainstay of probably the most well-known science fiction movie property or IP in the world. He's got the classic. Yeah. He has the classic hero's journey throughout the movie. I mean, he's the main character of Star Wars.
Okay, you know what? Sorry. I agree. Let me ask a little question. Okay, Snugs. Yes, I did like C-3PO, but Mr. Moto says you gravitated towards Obi-Wan. Were you, without getting too personal, were you a later viewer? Did you come in the Clone Wars era of things, the prequel era?
Yeah,
because I could certainly see that if it's kind of where you had Anakin and
yeah, we're talking from we're old men, so we're talking from seeing the original movies, because Obi-Wan doesn't have that much. In the movies, he's not. He dies halfway through the first movie, so he's an old guy.
But okay, here's the thing about Luke. In my friend group, not when I was real little, but somewhat older, before the sequels came out, Luke was mocked a lot for being whiny. Like he was in A New Hope.
He's still talking about that, eh? He's still talking about that in interviews and stuff.
Is he?
I saw an interview.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking about what Death Angel Shadow was saying, or about the
whiny thing?
Yeah. Well, he was.
Yeah. Well, he goes, yeah. People have been bugging me about being a whiny little forever. It was done on purpose, and with George Lucas is okay, because he wanted to show Luke as at the beginning was a little, was a whiny little kid, 17-year-old, and how he helped to show how he grows.
Okay, here's the thing, real quick. If you watch Star Wars, Mark Hamill actually does a great job at this. Look at the scene where he goes and finds his aunt and uncle. He's doing some excellent acting there. Too bad he's acting like a jackass these days.
Lately. Yeah.
It is bad. He was not bad.
All right. Okay, that's it. That's it for Star Wars. We're not gonna.
Okay, good. Kick the dirt of that dead franchise off our.
Yeah, they killed it. It could be argued that the Millennium Falcon is a great character. Yeah, it could be.
Mm.
Luke being whiny works. His dad was portrayed that way too in the prequels. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's true. The whole Skywalker family.
Okay. Next we have Cam's favorite sci-fi property.
All right, I'll be back.
Yeah, Cam threatened to leave for this party. We'll talk about that. So yeah. So Malcolm Reynolds, Firefly, Serenity, fame. He's a good character, a born leader. The way he operates on the ship, and in the stuff we see before during the Civil War. Witty in the face of danger, and he's an honorable sci-fi cowboy. People like the cowboys, right? The Han Solos, the Malcolm Reynolds.
He's not really honorable. He kicked the guy into an engine.
Oh, well, I'm sure he deserved it.
Okay, so here's the thing. The way that they aired this, it would have been more interesting if they actually showed the things in order, where because again, he's got this whole thing where he's like, oh, I hate men of faith or religion or whatever. He's got this, whole jaded thing. He just kind of comes across as a dick. But I think it was the first the actual first episode in order, it showed him during the war or whatever, and he was like a religious guy or something. So it's like they kind of ruined his character arc in terms of that, and that to me was kind of obnoxious. But if I would it would have been aired in the proper order, it might not have been, you know. But yeah, in the end, Firefly is not worth discussing as far as I'm concerned.
Okay,
So
I mean,
I've said
you
too
don't
much.
have to like. You don't. No one has to like it, but I'm not even saying.
I'm just going to debate.
I don't think it's bad, but
If you like him, that's fine. But saying he's one of the greatest sci-fi characters of a failed TV show that was poorly
Firefly is
conceived of
pretty
and
popular.
sucks as sci-fi, I think that's no, it's not. It's popular amongst a group of loud internet people.
Sure.
It never had any real popularity, and then it's one of those things. It's like, oh, it got real, quote unquote, popular because it got canceled. But hey, if people like it, that's not for me to tell them not to like it. But I don't buy into.
It's my job.
I think it. Yeah, right. Okay. I just think it's it's substandard. It's and he's not a good. I don't even think he's a good character. But
Snug says you're right for once.
Though,
if he said it, I mean,
well,
gotta be true.
Thanks, Snugs.
He never thinks
my
you're
friend.
right, so maybe it's true.
Snugs actually loves me, but in a manly way. I mean.
All right, Alien franchise. Ellen Ripley.
Yeah, thank God.
Great hero, big icon. She's tough, determined, and we've talked about this many times. The way that they're girl bossing around in the last 10 years in science fiction properties, just destroying them with their this crap. I mean, here's a woman who's a hero, yet she's still a woman. She doesn't have to, call down the men to raise herself up, and she can still be a woman, but still be a hero and in her way. So
whether her being a woman or not had no bearing on Alien, right? or Alien's a little bit maybe, but it wasn't like, oh, she's a strong woman character. No, she was just first of all,
one strong character who is a woman.
Yes, and you're right. Tough to determine everything, and it's also a hero that ends. We don't know anything about this character, right? When it comes in, and it's like she just develops into this hero. She's a warrant officer or whatever. On the ship,
second in command on the ship or whatever.
They're a merchant ship, and they're faced with this crazy situation or horrific situation, and she finds her way through it, right? And then which is fine, that's good storytelling. And then you come into the second movie where it's like she knows more about this, and it's like she doesn't want to have any part of it and gets dragged into the situation and then stands tall again. This is like a great example of someone revealing their heroic nature, where they didn't start out that way.
Yeah. I like it because I think she's a female hero done right, as I say there.
Absolutely, a hero done right. Period.
Yeah, but there's this writing now where if you have a female hero, she's got to become a man in a sense, right? She's got to take on all these masculine type attributes in order to be a hero, and I don't think that's necessarily true. I think you don't have to be a man to be a hero. A woman can too, but.
Well, Weatherman said it though. The mama bear thing is true. Yeah. I mean, it was part of it. And again, it's not mentioned. I don't know if it's mentioned in the movie or not, or maybe just in passing, maybe some text on a screen or something. Is she had a kid that obviously grew up in the time she was in stasis or hypersleep. Yeah, and that is kind of it might be more than a novelization or whatever, but that kind of plays into what she was doing in the second movie too, with Newt and all that.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, great character.
And then the next great character from the Alien franchise would, of course, the Xenomorph. Now, is this not the most iconic alien ever in any type of science fiction media?
Are you going with specifically the one from
No.
Alien, or
All of them
generally
in
them?
general? Some they're a little bit different in each movie, but generally the head like that, the teeth, the long tail, that kind of stuff. It's pretty much yeah. I mean, can you think of a more iconic alien? I mean, they've even it's so iconic they even take them out of these movies and put them into the Predator movies, and they have them fight each other, Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, pretty iconic. I mean, if you think about it, you've got the classic, Martians or whatever, and these various other things, but the xenomorphs are so foreign, I mean, so alien. But I mean, again, they seem like creatures, but then you find out they have the hive mind intelligence with the queen and all that stuff, and they're just so deadly in every way. Yeah, it's hard to argue that they're not. Man, they are definitely something unique.
I don't know. I'd say that all right.
Well, I guess you had the bugs before that, though, right? I mean,
I don't know. I'd say that they are a character in these movies. I mean, it's like it's kind of defined a generation of horror since the the late 70s, and they're the iconic blend of horror and science fiction mixed together.
Well, Mr. Milktoast threw a flag on you, right? And I have to say that technically I would agree. It's not a character. I mean, could you say the Jedi is a character?
No, that's different. Like these are not.
No, it's not.
Like the Jedi are people, and this is a character in that. I mean, we don't.
It's literally not a character, though. The Queen is a character,
but it is a character type. They're all kind of the same.
Okay, so you're agreeing with Mr. Milktoast. It's a type.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go. Yes, we all love it. James comes in with Baron Harkonnen.
Baron Harkonnen, yeah. Bender. The alcoholic, whoremonger, chain-smoking gambler robot who hates humans and is unlike most robots actually can die. Did you know that?
And eager to die. Clearly, he was trying to off himself in the first episode.
Did you know that Bender is mortal, unlike the rest of the robots in the franchise?
No.
He'll probably only last about 1 billion years. Body will wear out by then, and he can't be. He's got there's something wrong with his. There's a problem with his manufacturer, and he can't be. His memories cannot be uploaded and copied and put into another robot body. So he is technically mortal. He could die. He can't be put into another body. So, yeah.
Yeah, hilarious character. As far as I'm concerned, the whole genre of robot humor was brought to a new level with Bender, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny the series there. Pretty funny.
Yeah, I can say something right now that I kind of want to, but I don't want to bring anybody down, so I'll just leave
What's that?
Leave it sit. Nah, I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Favorite of yours? Getting a lot of robots.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, Optimus Prime, classic. I mean, noble, heroic, always. I mean, this is a character that, in the era in which characters have become this, they got to be kind of gritty or whatever, and they're gray and garbage. Optimus Prime is a shining example of the good guy.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, determined, honorable. Captain America of robots. And of course, they're robots that can transform. What could be cooler than that? This is sort of the start of science fiction for a generation of kids. My era. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. I was thinking about that. I don't remember if we talked about it on the show or not. Is could Transformers have been the thing that kind of replaced Star Wars? It's like, I don't know. It might have been. But then it kind of just dropped off the map for a long time too.
I think that like at the time, getting things into a movie is the big thing if you want to get if you want to become huge, right? Because the Transformers was a Saturday morning cartoon, right? So little kids watched it, right? You can't get the reach of Star Wars. Like Star Wars is an IP that cut across generations. Adults could watch it, right? No adult's going to sit. Most adults are not going to sit down and watch Saturday morning cartoons at 7:00 in the morning eating cereal with their kid, right? So if the Transformers could have made the leap during that time into movies, then I think they might have taken over, or they give them a good run for their money.
As is being alluded to, Snugs mentions, and I think Umbers is also referring to it, is there in fact was a movie in 1986, I believe, the Transformers animated movie, which is an awesome movie, but they did screw it up. This was a toy line show, and they wanted new toys, and they killed off Optimus in that. And they undercut themselves in a lot of ways if you were trying to go with this iconic character, because the replacements, while fine, could not compare to Optimus Prime.
Yeah, is this like the Unicron and those kind of guys?
Yeah, that's the one.
So, I mean,
right.
It's funny because G.I. Joe did the same thing, except they didn't kill off Duke.
Well, they pulled back on it. They were supposed to. Duke was supposed to be killed. Yeah, Falcon was supposed to replace him.
Because they just had but instead they just go, Duke's only a captain or a major or something. Let's bring a bunch of generals in and stuff ahead, higher up than him, which, you could understand that. But it's there. Yeah.
Well, C-3PO is a protocol droid.
And see, when the technology existed, I think, to actually do a good live action Optimus Prime Transformers movie, they blew it with the the Michael Bay explosion fest, as opposed to writing a good movie. They just
it didn't hit. I mean, they made the great choice of keeping the voice of Optimus Prime consistent throughout that, but it was too far off in other ways,
Yeah, it just.
Yeah, Death Angel Shadow is pointing out that, and same for me, is it was an afternoon show where I was. But I've heard people mention it being Saturday morning, so it might have been Saturday morning.
It's the same idea, right? The kind of thing.
Yeah. It's not playing. It's not prime time.
Yeah, it's a kid thing. All right. Okay, a lot of robots. Yeah. Transformers made tons of money, but they're not really that good quality. Of course, RoboCop, iconic, believable, not too distant future character. I think that's what really made this character hit, was the fact that it's set in Detroit, and at the time, there's all kinds of urban America has all kinds of crime problems, and it's just like. It's a little bit in the future, but I think a lot of people looked and they said, wait a second, this is not, could be, it's kind of, right?
Yeah, my recollection was, Detroit was kind of a S-hole at the time, but it had not been, it's not like it is today.
Yeah.
It wasn't completely off the cliff at that point.
Worse. But yeah. But it's funny because they, they predicted it.
Right. Michael says not the greatest, but iconic. That's a good. I would say that's a fair description. It's like, he is noticeable and recognized. People get him, and it was a solid story and everything. But it's like, I mean, it seems to be its own little thing though, and doesn't have much reach beyond it. Uh, Sorry, just backing up 1 second. Transformers does have that reach though. Transformers has spanned generations and continues to be popular beyond its original group. So that's one way that it's kind of like Star
Yeah,
Wars.
I think
It's just not the same level.
the RoboCop was it's very specific to its time, right? Because of what's going on
Absolutely.
around. And I mean, they did try the reboot in 2011 or whatever it was. Updated a little bit, but it just didn't hit as. I mean, they're just redoing it, and it didn't hit as hard because of the situation, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is my thought too. RoboCop is a
I think
glimpse
they need
into
to.
the future, and the not too
Yeah,
distant
for sure.
future. And you could sit there if you were, you were Mr. and Mrs. America, and you're like, oh, this is, we hearing about crime is pretty bad in some of these places. You could just, push it forward a little bit, and thinking if everything carries on the same, it could get this bad. Like it could be this. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what would be interesting, and I don't want to get political, but if they had a RoboCop UK
Oh God.
that RoboCop was enforcing the law, as written, not as enforced, with great bias. Imagine the things that RoboCop would be doing to a lot of these criminals that are escaping justice. I think it'd be pretty exciting for someone like
Could
myself, at
figure pretty
least.
cool.
Hmm.
Okay, more robots.
Okay.
Of course, this is one of the.
So time out for 1 second. So your expansive preparation for this is basically just copying last week's
No,
list.
not true. Not
No?
true.
Oh, okay.
That was all about robots.
Sure.
I mean,
Chat,
robots are very, it's science fiction. You're going to have a lot of crossover. All right. So, yeah. So the Terminator, I mean, this is the main character of one of the most well-known time travel, science fiction movies with time travel thrown in there. Lots of quotes, very iconic. Everyone knows of the Terminator franchises. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So once again, you're kind of going for a category here.
Yeah.
Certainly iconic. I mean, the Terminators are iconic. But I'd say the most iconic
One
for
of.
my money is, well, I mean, the Arnold model, clearly in the first movie, I would say, in T2, he was clearly a more developed character and everything.
Yeah.
But in terms of impact, I'd say the first one wins
Oh,
because, again, he just embodied the unstoppable, uncaring killing machine so well. It just worked great.
Yeah. All right. And the next female hero that I like, Sarah Connor, of course. She's believable. She's different from Ellen Ripley in that she doesn't transform herself, but this is a huge transformation by this character from the damsel in distress in the first movie to this hard-assed, tough, very focused hero, militant. Yeah, that's a good word. In the second movie, and the actress did the work to make herself look that way as well. So,
well, yeah, you're right. It is an interesting because within the original Terminator, she was basically the damsel in distress. I mean, it's she was fighting, and surviving and everything, but it was between movies in which she really made this jump, to what she is in the second movie, which is fine. I mean, it works just well. It works fine. But in the first one, she's definitely not what she was in the second one.
Yeah, and this is a believable to me again. I complain about female heroes in modern films and how they do a crappy job. but this is a believable transformation. You can see the amount of time that goes by. You get the backstory. You can see why she's whatever 3 billion people are killed. Why she's focused on this and almost psychotic about it, about learning these things and trying to stop this from happening.
Well, she's rather reasonable if you think about it. If she believes that's actually going to come true, she is extremely reasonable. Death Angel Shadow, he said, a fan of Terminator, but not Alien? You mean Alien?
So. I mean, this is a good trend. I mean, and she doesn't go around beating up men that are twice her size or anything like that. But she's believable, determined. Does whatever she can within her capabilities and increases her capabilities as much as she can. So I mean, good characterization.
Okay. Mr. Milquetoast brings up an excellent point.
What makes her a good female hero? Because she's far from perfect too. Is that you're saying that she's good because she's not perfect? Yeah.
But Mr. Milquetoast would bring up Princess Leia that you omitted from the Star Wars list.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want it to be an entire Star Wars list. I mean, you want me to put Princess Leia and Chewbacca in there? And I mean, I got it. If we're looking at the most iconic,
I think
if you're looking at the most
the
iconic
is making
characters in Star Wars, who would you list? Vader, Solo. Skywalker. Those would be the Luke Skywalker, right?
I don't know. I think a lot of people would make Princess Leia a good argument for Princess Leia, but I think what Mr. Milquetoast is saying that Princess Leia is far bigger in impact and everything than Sarah Connor is. That seems to be a hands down to me, and I'm not diminishing either character. I'm just saying that Princess Leia is Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all right. Go ahead. Snugs, I agree. TK41 is the unsung hero.
Yeah. So Neo, of course, he's the one, of course, prophesies defeat the intelligent machines that are enslaving humanity. This movie, groundbreaking special effects. People, you see that movie, you're like, wow. As much so in The Matrix, I would argue that the groundbreaking special effects are as groundbreaking as when we saw Star Wars, and the stuff they did with Star Wars was quite groundbreaking at the time. And I'd say that this is equally as groundbreaking.
I think generally I would agree with you on that. That it did have its moment, right, where it was like, wow, everybody, had that, but it was short lived, and probably for a good reason.
And I would also say that the key thing about this movie, especially the series, is the philosophical and the spiritual themes, the Christ-like figure, very strong themes back into deep in the human psyche, things that dig down into there. No comments?
Well, I think you could talk about. I think that it would be actually probably interesting to examine the Matrix from a lot of different angles. I think in the end, I would say that it is veneer of all those things. That in the end, it doesn't hold up as being that influential. But certainly at the time, it did have that feel. But looking back in 50 years, are people be like, "Oh, the Matrix"? It was really, I kind of doubt it.
It's not going to hold up as maybe not.
I don't think so.
It's just
the sequels really didn't do it any favors,
Yeah, I mean I mean, 2 and 3 were kind of one movie together. That put everything together, but yeah, I mean, I still say that Neo's an iconic character, very well known in science fiction. You put this picture up, and people are going to know who he is. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think our kids today are a bunch of Gen Zers know or care anything about the Matrix?
I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that. I kind of doubt it though.
What's this? Oh, Death Angel Shadow is making fun of my spelling. And I got my Agamemnon. Agamemnon.
Uh-oh. Okay. Guys got to do a show on Wednesday. Don't get.
All right.
Go ahead. All right. Let's go.
Fox Mulder. Yeah. So X-Files, big in the 90s, 93 to 2000. Brought conspiracy theories out to the sort of the mainstream. Really sort of was a bit of a cultural touchstone to the whole the end of the century sort of ennui that was going on. That kind of thing in the in Western culture, at least in North America. Yeah.
I guess we should talk about. Do you guys think that? I mean, would you? If you say X-Files, is the first thing that pops your mind sci-fi?
Yeah, it's sci-fi. I mean, there's a mix of other. There's a mix of all kinds of stuff in there. I mean, where would you put alien conspiracy theories in? I mean, there's a bit of horror in there for sure.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's not sci-fi, explicitly, but it to me it's as much crime and conspiracy and political-ish stuff. So yeah, just a question. I'm not saying it shouldn't be on the list or anything. I'm just saying that it's it's not a paragon of sci-fi in my opinion.
I think it's very I mean, it was pretty big at the time. Pretty big on
I'm not saying it wasn't big. I'm saying it wasn't the thing that you would be like, oh, this is a top sci-fi show of all time. I think there's many.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's a top sci-fi. I'm saying it's iconic, and it is well known and did something to change the face of sci-fi in a sense.
Okay. Yeah. Weatherman is Close Encounters of the Third Kind sci-fi? I think so.
I would Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The movie? Yeah. Definitely sci-fi. Science fiction, for sure. All right.
Snugs, you know me. I'm very wishy-washy. I have very weak opinions on things.
That's right. That's so true. All right. Okay, let's get into Star Trek, and I'm sure people will be mad if I won't include enough in there. So I'd say the most iconic science fiction captain would be Kirk. He's probably the most well-known Star Trek character. I mean, you could argue about this because people will say, oh, it depends what area you grew up in. If you grew up in the Next Generation era, you might say Picard. But I mean, I still think Kirk is the most iconic Star Trek character, and also a sort of an iconic. When you think of an iconic captain of an exploratory ship, his name comes up. He's the one.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the first. But here's the thing about Kirk is clearly there was an error. I mean, it was before my time, so I can't say how it was then. But Star Trek Next Generation went beyond it went beyond nerd stuff, right? It was for a time, not its whole run, but there was a time when it was like generally popular, with large groups of people.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to say that some of those characters wouldn't overwhelm this, but I think now going thinking back at this point, Kirk does hold up. It's he having less total time on the screen, even though there were a lot of movies with the original cast and such. Um, he does still hold his own, in that list of top Star Trek characters for sure.
Yeah, and I would say that Picard is purposely made, the opposite of Kirk in some sense, right? He's even though he is a bit of a womanizer and stuff, he's much less of an action hero. They purposely like, all right, this is maybe we went too far. Maybe this was too. Maybe let's make the captain more like a captain.
Okay, see, that's interesting because they certainly, I thought that was, I think I would agree with you. That was the setup, especially with the whole thing. It's like, yeah, he's not going to be going on the away team stuff, right? They set that up right out of the box with Next Generation. And so it kind of made him seem more like the diplomat and everything. But later on, they started, it's like, oh, he's Worf's Shadich or whatever for all the Klingon things, and he's fighting and doing, and it's like, they got into that, and it was like, it was okay. I think it pushed it a little bit too far. But I would argue that Kirk isn't given enough credit for being a leader and a diplomat and all these other things.
Yeah.
It's like he was an outstanding strategist, and he it kind of gets buried in the womanizing and the
fighting,
the exciting fights and stuff, right? But if you really look at the character, the other stuff is really there.
Yeah,
too.
I would agree with that. That's what they do. They make him, we look back and make him a caricature. We're like, oh, he's always dating the green girl. He's always, fighting people. But I mean, and there was that aspect of it. But it was the '60s, right? You had to have a show. I mean, you had to have the me leading man, get the ladies, and you had to have some action fighting because it's the '60s. That's what we expect from our action television shows, right?
Yeah. Memento Mori and Mr. Motos both point out Memento Mori saying that Kirk was an awesome character, meaning a lot of people really liked him, and Mr. Motos says Picard was a new age man. Yeah, true, Renaissance man kind of thing. But for me, neither of them were my favorite character. I mean, I have a tendency to not like the lead character as my favorite, but if I was to go through all, Ben Sisko is my favorite Star Trek lead.
Yeah. And I don't have a trouble with, Next Gen changed after taking away from Roddenberry. I don't have any problems with the way that Next Generation.
I don't either.
Season was garbage, but I don't. But I would agree with Cam, that there's I remember watching originally, they're going to, Picard's going to fight, stand in with Worf. I mean, Klingons are stronger than humans, and Picard's this short, little, old, skinny guy. I mean, Riker beating him up, maybe. I would maybe buy that, but, come on. Picard. They were trying to make him a little too much Kirk-like. Kirk, you can believe it. He's not an old, balding man. You can believe.
Yeah, I don't mind Picard having some moments of being, sufficiently tough, and getting into fights and stuff. But they went too far with it.
Beating up Klingons, hit a guy from behind, stuff like that. Sure, that's fine. That's what.
Yeah.
And then some of the stuff when they're going, they're the Q one where they put him back as a a young officer, and he used to fight a lot and stuff like that. Okay, I can buy that as a young man. Maybe he was a bit of a rough around the edges and stuff. Sure, but now, as this, he looks pretty old. Yeah.
All right, I'm sure you have more Star Trek. Let's move on to the next
problem.
one.
First season of Next Gen was close as Robert runs very vision. That's his problem.
Mr. Milk Toast, I got to say that as a kid, playing Star Trek with my friends, I was put in the role of Bones, and so I do have a fondness for him as well.
All right, of course, Spock, the green-blooded, pointy-eared science officer. He's the logical sounding board to Kirk, while Bones is, of course, the emotional sounding board. And he also represents the struggle between the illogical and the emotional because of his half human, half Vulcan heritage.
Okay, so undoubtedly, Spike is an iconic character. Question: maybe we could ask the chat: who's more iconic, Spock or Kirk?
That's a tough one.
Spock has the benefit of being an alien, right, and standing out in ways that Kirk can't. Again, he has this, unusual, the whole thing about being without emotion and all that. So I think it's easier to stand out, but he was the second in command too. He wasn't, the leader. Likewise, you could. Well, maybe I'll hold that off until we see who else is on your list here.
Yeah. I think you guys are gonna. I've got one more for Star Trek, and you're gonna be disappointed because I didn't want this to become a Star Trek list. I could put everybody on the. You could put Cisco and Picard and all these people on the list. Didn't want to put. I wouldn't want to be the Star Trek and Star Wars list. Yeah.
All right.
So I skipped some of the obvious ones. Did we want to? Anything else you want to say about Spock? He's pretty obvious.
Yeah, clearly very.
And I think, I think that would be, Kirk versus Spock is pretty, that's a tough one as to who's more well known.
Michael, apparently you're being censored on YouTube, but yeah, I wouldn't. That's a good reason not to pay attention to the people, young people that don't know what they're talking about. Doesn't mean all young people don't know what they're talking about, but many don't. So.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
Last one from Star Trek. This is the last one. You guys are going to be upset.
Okay, I had him on my list.
You did? All right.
Yeah.
Probably the most iconic villain from Star Trek, the original series anyway. I don't know. You could argue that maybe the Borg are more iconic from Next Generation, perhaps. But,
Yeah, I don't know. I strongly agree with this. I'm not saying it would be my conclusion necessarily, but I think you could certainly make a strong argument. And the contrasted with Kirk, as being his nemesis is hard to beat, right?
Well done.
Kirk had a big problem with Klingons and everything, but it was kind of a variety of them. Whereas Khan, literally they made a whole movie pulling back from, one episode of the show.
Yeah,
and arguably the greatest Star Trek movie.
Do you know how that they decided for that, eh?
I remember hearing something about it recently, but I don't remember.
So I forget the guy's name, but they were a little bit disappointed with the motion picture, right? It was like, it's kind of all over the place. And, so they got this, I forget his name escapes me. But they, he didn't know anything about Star Trek. They brought him in as executive producer. They say, hey, we're going to make this other movie. What should we do? And he goes, all right. He sat down, he watched all of the original series, all 3 seasons of it. And he goes, Khan should be the villain. He's the greatest. He's the greatest villain that you have in the original series. Bring him back, do something with him. And that's how they, decided. And arguably, I would say that The Wrath of Khan is arguably the best Star Trek movie ever.
For my money, it is.
I liked First Contact from the new, from the Next Generation. I thought it was well done as well. Good action and but I don't know. I mean, Wrath of Khan, great. Ricardo Montalban, great actor, going around there chewing up the scenery.
I had never seen the original one with Khan before the movie came out.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't know that much about, I obviously they kind of talked about it in the movie, but I hadn't seen it. So it was one of those cool things to go back and see the original. And it was great too. Again, Khan, the way that he plays things, it's like he's menacing and everything, but he's not like,
He's still suave, and
he is, and he's playing it, like a guy who is smarter than all of them. You know what I'm saying? It's, but he's also like at times, it kind of comes through. He like loses temper or whatever. Just brilliant, brilliantly written and
he's
acted.
Ming the Merciless type. I would agree with Mr. Except, Ming the Merciless is kind of played a little, cartoony, comically, I was going to say, but yeah, same thing. So, I mean, I think he's better, but yeah. Yeah. Rich Corinthian leather. Fine Corinthian leather. Oh, yeah. All right.
Snuggie always brings up the relevant points.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for this. Before we go on, I mean, there are tons. Like I said, I didn't want this to become all Star Trek, but there are some very Picard, Cisco. There are some quite iconic characters in Star Trek. But my thought was, I could have I didn't put Bones in here either. I was about to put Bones in there, but I thought, the triumvirate is very, but of the three, Kirk and Spock are, the most iconic. And then we threw in Khan because a little bit of a villain. Yeah. Harv Bennett. Yeah, that's right. Thanks. Dave. Great. Yeah. Harv Bennett. You're right. I'm like, oh, what's the guy? Start with a B. Wasn't Berman. I'm trying to, think of it. Harv Bennett. Yeah, exactly. Always count on the chat to fix me up and correct me, make us better. Yeah, Harv Bennett brought it.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. And he knew nothing about Star Trek. Watched all the things. He goes, "You gotta Khan. He's the best villain ever. He's Kirk's nemesis. Bring him in there. Make the movie about him."
It surely
arguably they made the best movie. Yeah, Scotty. I didn't include the Scotty either. Rook from Galaxy Quest. Yeah, Galaxy Quest it's pretty good.
All right, let's move on. Time's getting long here.
My favorite Doctor Who. Yeah, I mean, they've destroyed Doctor Who at this point, but this is a significant Doctor Who is a significant part of British pop culture. It is arguably the longest running sci-fi TV series, and you can make the argument as the most successful if you look at the amount of how much merchandise and all that stuff is being has been sold, etc. Even more than Star Wars, I think. I have to, that seems to be, but it's they might have destroyed it, but we can't argue with it. It's been going since the 60s.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about Doctor Who, to be honest with you. There's been times when I've enjoyed it a lot, and other times, but I mean, it wouldn't. I'm not a doctor. If it's like, oh, what are you? What's your top thing? Doctor Who is not it for me. I wouldn't describe myself as a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah, and this,
it would be way down on my list.
This isn't Sci-Fi Snob's list of his favorite science fiction properties. It's the list of the ones that I understand think have had the most impact, or some sort of impact on science fiction.
Yeah, hard to argue that Doctor Who didn't have an impact.
All right.
Man, Tom Baker was a legend.
Yeah, good.
Is still alive. Mad Max. Okay.
I would argue that the Road Warrior is sort of the iconic apocalyptic dystopian action film. Like that was sort of defined the genre with the wasteland and the landscape and desolate wasteland imagery, and the cast of characters even in the movie were quite iconic. Like, guys wearing hockey masks with his shirt off. What was that guy's name? The Humongous? No, I mean that's a different one. But the bizarre haircuts, all the weird things they're wearing on their body. Yeah. Max,
I can't argue that
on that. I'd say that it's the iconic post-apocalyptic dystopian environment. I wouldn't. If you ever think post-apocalyptic dystopia, boom, Mad Max is the first one that's going to come out first. I would say. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, so Mad Max was kind of. I mean, obviously, it was Road Warrior was a second movie, and Mad Max was just it just falls off the off the radar kind of. I don't know. I won't argue that it wasn't the thing, but I don't like it, to be honest with you. It kind of, I don't know. It's just I just don't like it. I have a visceral dislike of it. Let me say. I'm not saying I don't appreciate it for what it is, but I don't enjoy it. Let me put it that way. But I would also argue that it is not that relevant in the if you took all the things in the sci-fi genre, broad sci-fi genre, it's not that important. I don't think it really has. It's bizarre. It has all these weird things, but it's not very meaningful in the end to me. I just don't think it ranks. It's less than RoboCop, I'd say.
I think it defines that post-apocalyptic dystopian worldview for everybody, really. Like, it's the like I said, if you ever think of it, that's the first one you think of. Mad Max's last name, Rosenkowski. I don't know, I'll probably pronounce it wrong.
Well, what other? Okay, let me ask you this: what other post-apocalyptic things are there that aren't? Well, I don't know. I guess it's just the other ones just suck.
Fallout, Fallout, which is a game. I mean, it's a TV show now, but a game. What else would you say? I mean, there's a couple of books.
Okay, I'm going to throw one out. Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes. Okay, yeah, that would be a post-apocalyptic. Yeah.
Most of them are just are forgettable, I guess. It's like it's kind of a B movie thing, almost.
Would you say which is more, Planet of the Apes or Mad Max would be more impactful? I think that the Planet of the Apes is kind of is it niche? Maybe not.
Planet of the Apes is certainly pretty. Planet of the Apes is certainly more impactful for me personally, but I'm a huge fan of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's a tough question.
They both have remakes that have been done. What the two Furiosa movies have done pretty well for Mad Max.
Mad Max for me is so campy that I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, both have done fairly well. The Planet of the Apes movies, the new ones have done. I mean, I like the old ones, but the new ones have been going on for a while too, and the new Mad Maxes have done pretty critically acclaimed fairly well, reasonably well acclaimed. All right.
It's certainly worth talking about. But okay, wait a minute. Is Max that iconic though in himself? I mean, again, he's kind of the central character. This guy who's surviving all the stuff and everything. But it's like, what's special about him? Does he really stand out? I mean, he's just kind of like I don't know. He doesn't seem that unique to me.
No, he's a survivor.
No. I guess if you're saying, yeah, it's the post-apocalyptic thing, being a survivor is, you know, the key feature of it. Um,
like Ripley.
Anyway, okay.
All right.
I'd say Ripley's far more iconic.
I would say too, but within this genre, the apocalyptic dystopian, I think this is probably the main one. But again, you could argue,
Sure.
you could argue Planet of the Apes, but Planet of the Apes is a little different and not as dystopian. Maybe
Well,
not. Would you? I mean,
it's not. I mean, you don't
is
realize
Planet of the Apes post-apocalyptic?
later.
I mean, it's not until the movie
Yes.
where they blow everything
You
up.
don't.
Oh no, wait. There
Well,
is
no,
there
it
is
is.
something that happens beforehand.
At the end of the first movie, you realize
Yeah,
that it
that's
is.
right. Yeah,
You didn't know it until the very end, so it was kind of a surprise ending. Incidentally, do you have anybody from Planet of the Apes on this list? Okay, I have Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
He was on my list actually, but I couldn't include everybody. But yeah, he was a possibility. I threw this in because I like the Master Chief, but and this is he's a pretty iconic character. He is, if you were the super soldier male fantasy, he pretty much fits the bill. I can't really think of anybody who better fits that bill. There's been a lot of them, but he is, I think, the ultimate. Selfless, courageous, fearless, determined. I mean, what other would you put anyone else? I mean, super soldier category would be Universal Soldier, maybe Captain America. Like who else would get into this specific sort of subgenre?
Okay, well, I don't disagree with your characterization of him there, but like you said, it's a fantasy character in which you play that role.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where it really comes in to people making a connection to it because you're stepping in that role. It's you.
Yeah, but I mean that's I mean it's a video game, but that's not right. That is not really the like you when you're watching a movie, you're putting oftentimes we're putting ourselves into that character that we like. We want to be like that character as well. So the fact that you're playing the character in a video game doesn't matter to me. Like it's a story.
Okay, no, because I think
that.
But Master Chief is kind of a blank slate, though, intentionally. Until way later,
yes,
with their
true, there is some to that, but also, I mean, I think that
he is an icon. The fact that he is an iconic character is kind of the point. It's like you were saying before about the aliens or whatever. You could almost say the same about Master. Well, and they did make it later that the Spartans were a bunch of them or whatever. I think it was. I don't remember if in the first game there were more of them or was it just him.
No, he's in the first game. He's
unique.
Yeah,
he's
the rest of them are not around. And then they
so
go backwards.
Well, not around, but later on
that there's more. But they're mostly, they're all killed off mostly. And then later on they bring in new ones, but they're not the same as him. They're not. Mm-hmm. They are more like they're like Navy SEALs types. They're like they don't go through. They don't go through They didn't go through the training and the brainwashing and all that stuff. But yeah, like to me, the idea that like the fact that he's a blank slate. I mean, part of that is part of that is because the game. Yeah, they want to make him so that you can it's easier for you to put yourself into his shoes. But also that's part of his his stoicism, right? Yeah. That's that's part of
it. I would definitely agree he's an iconic character.
Yeah. I can't think of is there any super soldier in science fiction that that is more iconic than him that you would know, right? Maybe
in science
Universal
fiction,
Soldier from that movie, Universal Soldier. That's kind of the same idea, but not as big as him.
You got Rico,
Johnny Rico. He's not really a super soldier. He's just a normal.
They kind of are. I mean, he's not unusual from the rest of them, but as a protagonist that you follow, he kind of takes that role.
He's not the invincible, do everything by himself. He's just a
True.
good soldier,
True.
and
Yeah.
a good leader and everything. But he's not the
Yeah, that's
super
true. It's
soldier.
more about soldiering than being a
Yeah,
unique hero. Well, Captain America, but he's not necessarily sci-fi.
yeah. This is it's the Captain America mold. Amos Burton from The Expanse, as a super soldier. I mean, I would say no. He's not really a soldier. He's just a guy who he lacks emotion. At the end of the series, he is infected and becomes something other than himself.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm interested to. No one in the chat has put anything, I don't think, in there. I'd be curious to see if anybody thinks if there's another, more than him. Never heard of it being in theaters. Yeah, you don't. Rules are for the weak, man. You don't need to follow the rules. All right, getting near the end here. A couple more left. Who do we got? Oh, was he on your list? No, really. Judge Dredd.
But I did think about I started thinking about that when you were talking about Mad Max, and I'm like, well, Judge Dredd would be way more iconic in my view.
So?
But well, I don't know. I guess I'm not sure he's that well known.
I don't think it's as well known. It's primarily UK,
not, but
firstly a UK property and American. I mean, he is the law, though, right? It's a very interesting dystopian world. The whole Judge Dredd is this bit of a satire of British and American culture, and it kind of focuses on authoritarianism and police brutality. I need to get into Judge Dredd a little more.
There's a thing about British satire about things like this tends to be more like just accurate. They think they're producing satire and like some biting commentary, and it's like, no, that's pretty much right.
Dredd is not more iconic than Max. I would agree. It's iconic. Dredd is iconic, but I don't think it's bigger than Mad Max.
No, I wouldn't say that it's bigger. I think Mad Max is more well known for sure.
Yeah, Amos. We could talk about Amos from The Expanse. That's okay. Getting near the end. Last one. We're over an hour 37. I agree. Carl Urban is the best Dredd. I'm hoping rumor is they're working on a second one. It might be a television show.
We recently we recently talked about that on an episode, maybe 10 episodes back or something, and I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Talking about coming back, maybe like a 8 or 10 episode series or something like that. I don't think I heard television series, not movie, but we'll see. All right. Okay. Are we last one? Can you guess who it is? Of course, Marty and Doc Brown. Iconic time traveling duo. And, is Back to the Future the most coherent time traveling movie? I mean, I would argue maybe it is.
Well, I mean, it did actually try to deal with the fact that, what happens if you go back and change the past and then you erase yourself. I mean, it was kind of ongoing throughout the movie, not just a mention.
Wave your hands and just whatever. I mean, time traveling properties done well. I mean, this sits in my mind as the best well done. And this should be a snapshot of American culture in the 1950s and the 1980s, not the 40s, of course. Typo. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why the movie is iconic. It's showing a slice of American life in the 50s while you're in the 80s, and doing a good job of that too.
Is this the most famous time travel movie?
Well, what other? I mean, Terminator has time travel in it.
No, The Time Machine.
The Time Machine. What else?
Terminator certainly is.
But I think Terminator is it's not primarily a time travel movie. It's a device that's used to. So I mean, there's time travel in it, but I would say H.G. Wells' A Time Machine, and then this movie. What else? What else has? Nothing as big as this. There's some. The Time Traveler's Wife, but those are not. There's the Hallmark movie that my Hallmark series that my wife watches about Hallmark time travel movie that I told you about that, Cam. They jump
Vaguely.
in.
Oh
They
wait,
jump in this pond.
what's the one with Christopher Reeve? Someplace in Time, is that it? Hold on, I'm not remembering. I never saw it.
Quantum Leap, an iconic series, yeah, but it's not a movie. Bill and Ted, but that's kind of comedic.
Somewhere in time.
Yeah, that's kind of comedic.
Oh, that's true. Bill and Ted. Yeah, but Bill and Ted was huge for its time. It probably doesn't have the staying power of Back to the Future.
They don't treat it as serious, This treats it a little more seriously, like trying to keep the whole, yeah.
Yeah, Bill and Ted was a wacky comedy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Back to the Future was dramatic adventure, I guess you'd call it.
And of course, Michael makes a good point. TV shows without Doc Brown and Marty would never got Rick and Morty. Yeah, I think Michael is a fan of Rick and Morty like me. Not everybody is though, but yeah. Somewhere in Time, Christopher Reeve going back in time.
Somewhere in Time was a romance.
Somewhere in Time was a romance. I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, I've never actually seen it either. I'm familiar. It's Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour.
Actually, there was a movie called Forward Unto Dawn released about the Halo. Now, I don't think it was initially released in theaters, but yeah. It is a movie. I think you can see it on YouTube. Forward Unto Dawn. Good. It was primarily made as a promo for one of the games, to be honest. But yeah. All right. Okay, Cam. That's the last one. I was gonna end on Doctor Who, but I added some more and moved them around because I thought that'd be a little depressing.
Okay. Can I just toss in my other ones?
Are we done with Back to the Future?
Yeah. Okay, you ready?
Okay, other ones, yes.
GLaDOS from Portal.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Hilarious.
Interesting.
I already mentioned Caesar from Planet of the Apes. And then HAL 9000 from 2000.
HAL 9000, yeah. I was going to add him in there, but then I didn't because then I would figure you'd make fun of me for the list being too close to last week. But yeah. Yeah, that was one of my... I actually meant to put in Deckard from Blade Runner, but I forgot to put him in. Yeah. Anybody else? Who else do we...
That's all I had on my short list. I'm sure there are others that we're not thinking of, but maybe we could do a part 2 at some point.
I mean, there's I can throw out tons of them. Hellboy, Buffy.
You're pushing sci-fi.
Godzilla.
On those. Godzilla would be a good one.
I mean, we mentioned, Chewbacca and Princess Leia. I would include them. They're pretty iconic, but I just didn't want to put too many Star Wars in that and Star Trek.
You could have just said the cast of Star Wars.
Buck Rogers, John Carter.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But see, the problem with those all those classics, which you don't like, by the way, I do,
What do you mean?
are that they really, whenever I talk about something like Flash Gordon, whenever you're like, oh, that's not real sci-fi.
I don't say
it's,
that. What
it's,
exactly?
you say exactly that. But the point is they're really not, they're still around and they pop up every once in a while, but they don't leave a huge impact anymore. There's just too many. Again, Star Wars kind of takes the oxygen out of everything still,
Yeah,
even though it sucks now.
like they could, like John Carter.
And
They
so these
could,
other,
like what's the story? John Carter could have isn't the story that it was John Carter or Star Wars, wasn't it? And they went with Star Wars. Tron, like Tron's a potentially one.
I thought it was Flash. I thought George Lucas wanted to do Flash Gordon or something.
I forget the story that oh no, maybe that was Marvel. I don't know. The Major from the Ghost in the Shell. Definitely for the Japanese Major. Yeah, I forget her name escapes me.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is I don't know that Flash Gordon or Buck Rogers will ever be able to hold up to, or make a comeback, I guess, to be at the level of Star Wars.
Well, I think, I mean, nothing's at the level of Star Wars. Star Wars is probably the most well-known science fiction IP of all time. The question is really, I mean, I disagree, actually. I think it could. It's just that the problem is that it's impossible for, Hollywood can't do a good.
I don't
can't make a good movie anymore.
Absolutely true.
All kinds of names. I'm going to put them up.
But let me state an argument why I think that it might not be able to is because it might be too much of a product of its time. The idea of Flash Gordon, being a dude, they jump on a rocket ship and go to, this other planet where all this crazy stuff happens, is hard for an audience to accept these days. Star Wars doesn't have that problem because it's in a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago, and they kind of build around it. Whereas, Flash is a human.
You could,
from
but
Earth.
you can write your way around that.
I guess, but I think it's a harder sell.
It's a good story. That's the problem, right? Like it needs a good story.
Yeah. Umbra says, surprised we didn't touch on Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. Iconic characters from Battlestar Galactica. Who would you say is the most iconic character?
Well, I mean, if you go back to the 78 series, I think Starbuck was probably the one that, from my experience, Starbuck was the one that the kids really liked. It's like, oh, Starbuck's so awesome. I was more of an Apollo fan myself.
Well, Starbuck's the
rogue
ladies man, and Apollo is the honorable good guy.
Yeah, honestly, though, Boomer was my favorite. Yeah. So,
what about?
And then in the new one, I mean, it's an ensemble cast, but I would say Adama is more of the standout in that show.
What about Stargate?
I don't know.
Those guys rise to the level of. I mean, they're fairly well known. I mean, it's a 10-year series, plus all the spin-offs, right?
Yeah.
What's his name?
But again, okay, so
O'Neill.
It remains a niche thing, though, right? I'm not sure that it ever got to the level where it broke out into the common viewing audience to any degree.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I said, Star Trek Next Generation did. It became a huge thing, cultural phenomenon beyond, the genre audience.
Yeah.
Michael says Dirk Benedict was sort of an a-hole.
Do we miss anybody else?
I don't know. There were a lot of comments from the chat. A lot of great participation. Yeah, Weatherman says Ben Sisko. Yes, absolutely. Ben Sisko's awesome.
Yeah. What was the name of that dog in Battlestar?
Oh, the Daggett.
I mean, we mentioned, Zaphod Beeblebrock Marvin, the android, maybe. Tron, we said that.
I had a Battlestar Galactica notebook and folder when I was a kid with Boxy
Blade.
And the Daggett.
Would you?
Blade?
Not really
No,
science
Blade
fiction.
is not sci-fi. No.
Maybe you could make the Logan 5. Even the even with the movie and the TV series, I don't think it had as big.
No, the impact just is it's definitely
niche. Not as big. Yeah, I mean, there's I've got a bunch of other characters, but they're sort of they're secondary characters to the, like, you can say, are you gonna Q from Star Trek? Are you gonna mention him? I mean, he is, but you've got bigger characters on there. Though Q is kind of an outside character, but there's a bigger ones, right? So
James is asking if we could hear my Star Trek story. Could have a dramatic reading.
Yeah, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, yeah. Cam's Star Trek story. He was James was asking me about that offline. What is your Star Trek story? The Orville. The Orville is just it's Star Trek, but it's Star Trek done properly for now, because they don't know how to do it. Yeah, sorry. What is your start? He was asking me about that offline, and I'm like, I don't know what Star Trek story is.
Well, back in the old days when the Star Trek used to accept submissions from writers, so I was a huge fan of the show, and I'm like, I kind of like this, or whatever, and I just, as a very long, extensive hobby, I decided I was going to write a Deep Space Nine script, so I did, and I submitted it. And they said, well, we can't use this, but here's a bunch. I don't know. I don't know if they did this for everyone that submitted a story or whatever. They sent me like their, the writer's Bible and all this stuff. And said, here, if you have any questions about this, call this or whatever, you can, so they invited me to pitch other stuff, which I never did. And I don't know if they did that for everyone, or they said, oh, maybe this is decent, or I have no idea. It might just be something they did for everybody. Okay, Snugs, here's the thing. The character was, there was a character that I made for the thing, but it was an anti-Mary Sue. It was not a Mary Sue at all.
So he just tripped and did everything wrong. He was the Gomer Pyle of Star Trek.
Okay, the problem with the Mary Sue, right, which I think started with Star Trek, is it's a self-insert, and it's like, oh, look, everything's about this character, and this character is so perfect and wonderful, and da 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 da. The story I wrote was it used an outside character that came to the station, but that character was just the vehicle for seeing all the other the actual characters on the show. It was seeing them from this other person's eyes, and so it was really about the other characters, not about this character. They weren't a Mary Sue.
But, and so what was the storyline like? Were the characters portrayed very differently?
No, the characters
did this character see them very differently? Is that what you're...
The character did see a particular character differently, and it was kind of, some of it was about reacting to that, but it was, how it was kind of in the same form as there was an episode of I don't remember if this is before or after, to be honest. I'd have to look at the dates of it, but there was an episode of Next Generation called Lower Decks, where it was basically you saw the things from the view of these lesser officers.
Lower Decks.
Lesser echelon officers. And so it was kind of like similar to that, except there was just one. And so this character went, and it was like a day in the life of this, nobody character who just happened to interact with the cast, the actual people and on the show. And I'm sure there's been other stories that have done that at various times. But anyway, that was the kind of the concept of it, is you're seeing things through this new arrival. But like I said, it's I didn't even know what a Mary Sue was at the time I wrote this. I'm not I'm not a professional writer or anything, so I didn't know about those tropes. But luckily, I think I avoided it because the character wasn't exceptional. It was just some guy, who you got to see things from his viewpoint, from his perspective.
I had an idea for I never wrote it anything. My idea for it was a next generation one. It would be where the Enterprise has to ferry a bunch of Federation Space Marines to some sort of attack they're doing or something on something, and there would be a regiment of them, and there'd be a colonel in charge. Picard and the colonel would clash, and there'd be problems with because they're it's a ship with 400 people, and they got all these kids and stuff, and obviously you put a couple hundred or 1,000 Federation Space Marines on there, and there'd be some clashes, because they're hardcore and etc. But I don't know, it wouldn't really fit with the Federation isn't very warlike, but I think it would try to show the warlikeness of the Federation versus the Picard version versus the infantry soldier type. But I hadn't seen Babylon 5. Like, I had no idea, and now it's GoPros. It's basically that story.
Well, that's the thing. There are no new ideas, right? When it comes down to it, and they ended up doing that. Actually, some of the things in the story I wrote for Deep Space Nine, they ended up doing later on. And I'm not saying they took my ideas. They're just ideas that naturally would occur, in the course of a character. And same thing with what you're saying. Some of that stuff did kind of come into Deep Space Nine eventually, where you saw that kind of thing. Maybe not in that exact form, but similar.
If I had to, for my story, if I had to, cast the colonel, the regimental colonel in charge of the Space Marines or whatever, Jellicoe would be a good cast.
Yeah, exactly.
Ronnie Cox.
Ronnie Cox.
He'd be great.
Yep.
You could just see him with Picard, arguing, no, I dropped my troops here and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Snob is always focusing on the military, even in Star Trek. Yeah, I wonder why that is. Yeah. Mako's Federation Marines in season 3 of Enterprise. Yeah, I had this idea before Enterprise came out. It was in the tail end of Next Generation. I had this. That was when the idea was going around. Yeah. It's hard to, like I said, Weatherman. It's hard to get away from your past. Yeah.
Well, I will admit that Snuggy's cackling at being right about this is the character that I had in there did have 2 similarities to me, but otherwise not. It was.
Oh, really? What was that?
I will not say.
Did he have long hair?
No.
Short hair?
Not physical similarities.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
All right.
I will tell you, he enjoyed chocolate chip cookies.
Ooh, I'm sure that was very interesting and very important to the storyline.
Kind of, but not really.
All right. Okay, is that it? We're good. I think we wasted enough time.
Yeah.
We're talking after the show, blah, blah, blah. All right. Okay. What's coming up next, Cam?
Well, we have Babylon 5 retrospective on Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern, as every week.
And what episode are we looking at?
I don't remember. Hold on, I'll find out.
Remember.
It's episode 14, I believe.
I think it's Hunter Prey.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And we have a guest panelist for that show.
Who is it?
It's a new one.
Mm.
Somebody new. Dean. Dean is
Oh,
going to come,
yes.
and he's going to. He's never been a guest panelist before. We're gonna throw him into the deep end of the pool, see what happens, and yeah, go with that. Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah,
Right,
and
yeah.
next week on this show. Sorry, did you have more?
No, I was just say Dean was in the chat. Seems to be a big for the Babylon 5 show. I mean, and seemed to be a enthusiastic Babylon 5 fan.
Yeah, he says that he was telling me that he's a real big fan of the show. So I guess he didn't know what we were doing until recently, but he wants to jump right in.
Believe he's from the UK. Is that correct?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I think so.
My recollection was Babylon 5 was big in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you might be right. He is from the UK, but it's going to be tough for him he's going to be getting up earlier, later or something. But yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. So, and next week on this show, we are also having a guest. Al from Critical Moves podcast is going to come and talk about video games. Check out Critical Moves if you're into video games at all. He's got some good stuff. He's got an interview. I haven't watched it yet. I got to watch it. He's got a 2-part interview with the guys who made AI War 2, about small development studios, that kind of stuff. He's got a bunch of other things. We're supposedly be talking about science fiction related games, but I'm not sure if we're supposed to be doing 4X and grand strategy, but I'm not sure if I might change that a little bit. It might be more general about science fiction related video games. I'm going to talk to him this week and sort of dig into exactly what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be about video games and science fiction related ones, maybe good ones that you should try, ones coming up, stuff like that. Yeah.
All right.
So we won't forget. We won't forget jokes. So what else? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help us with that YouTube algorithm, sticking in our crawl all the time. We have we're stuck at 619 subscribers. We went up, down a little bit. We back up, so we're stuck there. So if you can help us get share our show out, bring in some more people who might be interested. We're always looking for that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a real problem to break out of that box. It's just I don't know how. Yeah.
But as long as the people who are watching are enjoying the show, that's the main thing.
That's true. We love our chat.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get more people, but that's all right.
Excellent chat tonight, by the way. You guys were really throwing out a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I didn't like it so much. People were picking on me and telling me I was wrong.
See, even better. Great job.
I didn't like that. Yeah.
Whereas I just have one detractor in Snugs. Thanks.
That's right. I've got every other one. Mm-hmm. So you're not doing so bad. But
you notice Death Angel Shadow is your biggest detractor.
Yeah. But at least Snugs is consistent, and he's very sharp, though. He goes for the jugular every time.
It's almost as if he knows me.
Yeah, I used to do that joke with Jason all the time. I can unsub and resub if it helps. I used to tell him that all the time. Yeah,
couldn't hurt, right?
Yeah. Okay. And after the show, I'm gonna jump in the after party in the Discord. If anybody wants to hang out and talk for a little bit, I can spend a little bit of time there. Not a super long time, but yeah. What's this? Oh, Michael. Michael is very knowledgeable about Babylon 5. Very popular in the UK. Fledgling RPG company made a role-playing game, Babylon 5, with 50 supplements. Oh, geez. Was that a RPG company? Was that a UK one or just a whatever?
Michael, is that the same? Is that the only the one we had here in the US too, or is it a different game?
Yeah, I don't know. Boo hiss. Look at this. Now I'm getting booed. What did I do? All right. Whatever. Yeah, so I'll be in the chat afterwards if anybody wants to hang out for a little bit. I can spend a little bit of time there. Okay, we talked about what's coming up next. Yeah, we're gonna try to get more guests on the show, like Al. I'm gonna put some stuff. Should I do it this? I was gonna do it this week. Some links to some of his stuff, but maybe I should wait to make sure he comes on the show, Cam. Right?
Yeah.
Next week after he's done. I don't want to give him all these free links and stuff if he does.
Oh yeah, boy.
And then they find out he's like, "Hey, thanks. I got one from when I couldn't make it. I'm sick." Yeah. So maybe I should wait, but yeah, he's on their Discord anyway. Check him out. I've got, you can Critical Moves podcast. They're about the same size as us. More videos out there though too. They do good stuff. Go check them out. All right. Is that it? I think we got everything right. We didn't. We're all done. That's it for the show.
Yeah.
Did I forget anything, Cam?
Nope.
No, I didn't. Wait. Yes, I did. Look, let me just check on my. Yeah. Oh, we forgot the jokes. Oh, link to the Discord. Yeah, Death Angel Shadow. Can you put that in there? Are you able to do that? I think you got permissions to do that. If Jeff, you can do that, I appreciate that. All right,
he won't,
jokes.
He hates you.
He hates me. Everyone hates me. Ugh. My children hate me. Everything. All right. Let me see here. Let's do that. Okay. Each of these are from a large IP, sort of. All right, Cam. Let me ask you. What do Star Wars fans drink to wake up in the morning?
I don't know. What do Star Wars fans drink to wake up in the morning?
A cup of Java. Get it? Jabba the Hutt and Java sounds very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Java. Get it? No?
Yeah.
All right. Doctor Who. Why can't two doctors be together?
I don't know. Why can't two doctors be together?
That would be a time pair o docs. Get it? A pair of docs? Pair of doctors. Get it?
Yep.
Doctor
Mm-hmm.
Who.
I get it. It's a pun.
All right, good. You're not going to like this one. I like this one, but okay, maybe we'll say that one for last. What is Will Riker's dating philosophy?
What is Will Riker's dating philosophy? I don't know.
If at first you don't succeed, try Troy again. You're going to like that one, yeah.
Yeah, I hate Troy so
I
much.
knew you'd like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I should say that one for last.
I hate Riker and Troy. Both and together I despise them.
What do you this is a Matrix joke. Yeah.
Okay.
Two more. Second last one. What do you call the Oracle from the Matrix movie without her guardian?
I don't know. What do you call the Oracle from the Matrix movie without her guardian?
She's called Sans Serif. Get it?
It would help if I remembered her name.
Sans Serif.
Okay.
Sans Serif. I didn't pronounce it right. So Serif is the guy who's named we named after the angel, the guy who follows him around in the second movie and protects her. And Sans Serif is
yeah, I get it.
Sans means without, and sans serif is also
a type of font. Yes.
Type of font. Yeah. No. Okay. All right. You like Picard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many ears does Captain Picard have?
How many ears does Captain Picard have? I don't know.
3. A right ear, a left ear, and a final front ear.
Great.
I should have ended with the Riker one. All right. That's it for the jokes today. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you didn't enjoy the jokes, too bad. I don't get paid enough to get good ones. They're supposed to be bad. Join us next week for the show. Video games we'll be talking about. And also, don't forget Babylon 5. And like and subscribe. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Thanks
night.
for coming out.
by saying